I have one question for you. Who is going to bring the fun?
You're in the honky tonk with Todd, the Data Cowboy.
All right, that is the question. Who is going to bring the fun? Well, we're going to answer that question here on the Bring the Fun podcast tonight. And we are super excited to interview all the most fun people in the entire industry, line dancing all over the country, all over the world. And every time I do a podcast, I talk to everybody about who they think is the most fun. And one name has kept coming up, and I've worked with this lady for a couple years now in the line dance industry, and it has been super, super fun. So we're excited to have Taren Wilhelm here from Boots on the Beach to the podcast. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here. Bring the fun, bring the vibes. You and I always dance the vibe together. I love it.
Absolutely. My favorite dance. So Taren has been a incredible person in the line dance industry. She's known kind of like as a jack of all trades. She wears many hats. She always kind of does a spin on that. And she says she's really the queen of all trades, and she wears many boots. And it's usually on the beach. So she is Boots on the Beach. She's well known all over the country. She covers the whole Gulf Coast region, all the way Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, Florida. A lot of her videos come from the Pensacola area, but she covers that whole area down there. She, just in her background, she's always been a trainer, a planner, a writer of some sort in every single field, whether it's in being a chemist, in fast pitch softball, and being a Navy ombudsman, in line dancing, everything that she does, she just does it so well. And I don't know if she's heard on some of the other podcasts, but whenever her name comes up, I always say that Taren could be the president of line dancing. She is so incredible, so smart. She's basically helped develop the entire Edge or Kickstart training program, which I'm actually a part of for line dancing and partner dancing. And she's put together an incredible curriculum, has helped so many up and coming dancers become instructors. And it is just great to see. And it has just exploded all over the country. So we're really excited to learn all about that, everything that she is doing. So welcome to the podcast once again. We always like to start out with kind of like, what's your background? Like, you've done so many things, and how did that background kind of get you into line dancing, Taren?
Yeah, so the very first time I ever line danced, I was a young kid. My parents had gone out for a date, which was pretty rare for them. They worked up to 3 jobs, and it was Neon Moon back in the 90s. And they, showed me something that they learned. I did it, and it stuck with me. So when I went off to college, I went out with my roommates for the first time and went line dancing and absolutely loved it. But I was there on scholarship for softball, so didn't really go out much. Fast forward about 10-15 years later, my husband and I were stationed in Washington, and he was deployed. So I was looking for something to do. So I Googled, what different things were going on in the area, came across this dance team, and I joined a team that I was on for several years where we did performances on stage, ran boot camps, taught other people, did socials. And it was so much fun. Met some of my closest friends through that and started teaching through that. Then fast forward, we moved back home on the Gulf Coast, and then COVID hit. And so I just missed dancing. My kids were little at the time, 2 and 4. So I would just go out to the beach because we were close on here. And I would just put on music and dance all the old dances that I knew. And then I found TikTok during that time.
Oh, nice.
COVID. And that introduced me to so many more dances that were going on as well. So I kind of was like, you know what? I'm going to create this account and just dance for the fun of it. And that's kind of how that started. And next thing you know, left and right, I'm getting asked, when are you going to teach again? And I went to my hometown bar, which is Wild Greg's in Pensacola. And I asked them, hey, you interested in starting lessons again? And they were really hesitant because it's a military town. And prior to me, there was a lot of turnover. And so they're like, we're just looking for somebody to stick around. And I'm like, you know what? This is my hometown. I would love to get dancing going on the coast again and have it be consistent. And that's really what started the current journey of teaching. So then from there, I expanded into other cities, contacted other places, and offered lessons. And it was through that I was again researching online, hey, where's more of this that I can do right now? And came across Kickstart and saw that Adia was sharing something after I'd already went to Shoreline, I'd already went to the Edge, and saw that she was putting out an instructor training program. And my eyes got big and I got
Yes,
excited.
for
I'm like,
sure. I mean, you're so well suited for that, and I just love you two together building that out. I mean, when you guys started it, I was like, I am signing up immediately. I want the VIP package. I want to learn everything that you guys have. The network in the Kickstart program is every penny worth just the network of people. It's the who's who of line dancing. And if you have any question in any aspect of the business, how to run a business, how to teach, how to be better, you guys have all the answers and all the networks to help people. It's incredible. So as soon as you guys started, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is gonna be incredible. I was so
I
excited.
I love that. Thank you, Todd. Yeah, I mean, Adia has so many of the connections, and then I have such a strong background in writing and training that, yeah, our worlds combined really helped kind of. Our passion was to help others not have to go about it the hard way or feel like they have to do X, Y, and Z to get started. So that was really the gist of it, and it's grown into an awesome thing.
That's great. Yeah, I mean it's really good. Like every student that I've talked to, they just rave about it, and I enjoy talking to them as well. So how did you what inspired you when you were kind of going through all these transitions? Were there certain people that on TikTok or other places that were inspiring you to, hey, this is something I want to like really take over and take over the world at line dancing. I'm gonna do it.
Well, sure. I mean, boot scooting. So Philip
Yep.
Unger out in California, you can't be in line dancing for long and not have seen his channel. So I just love him to death in person and what he puts out. So seeing his videos and how he was sharing that. Trevor Thornton, I absolutely love both of their teaching styles because it couldn't fit more with what you're doing about bringing the fun. They're instructors, along with so many others in the industry, but they're about bringing the fun into their teaching. So I just loved watching them and wanted to, kind of share more of that too. And then, of course, all of the greats, all the world dance masters, Joe, John, you name it, Guyton, just being able to share their dances and then be part of these different events. I love it.
Now, one of the beautiful things about the line dancing industry is these people are so accessible and they're so open. I'll be with somebody that's like it's their first event they've ever been to, and they're like, "Oh, there's Victor," or "Oh, there's Philip," or "Oh, there's Guyton, like this legend in the whole line dance industry." And I'm like, "Let's go talk to him. Like, just go right up. Come on, he'll be happy. Let's take a picture. Let's do all this." And they're just like, "Oh, really?" And I'm like, "Absolutely. They will talk to you and do everything. You're the same way. Like." I don't know how you get out of, once you teach a class, everybody wants to come up and talk to you. You're like, I gotta teach my next class. But it's great. And those are the people that I gravitate to, that you gravitate to. It's just such a great family of people and so open. And you're just shell shocked at like the talent level of these people. And they're just like, hey, super cool about it.
Well, thank you. And that is a neat thing is the community and being able to everyone come together because sure, you can learn a dance from online and that's why we love Philip's videos, right? And so many other instructors. Michelle Wright's another great one. But then to come together when we're all in the same place and dancing is just truly special.
Yeah, I always like to say the first night is just amazing because you just have this entire floor of dance addicts. Everybody's like super hyped up. They're all ready to they're all ready to go. And they just miss each other. It's like a family reunion. It's super fun.
It
So
is.
tell me a little bit about choreography, what's your involvement with choreography, and is that something that you like to do or versus teaching, or what aspect of line dancing is kind of your favorite thing?
Oh, there's a couple questions in there and
Yeah,
really
there's a
good.
couple. So
Choreography. I've always liked it and I've always done it, but I haven't always shared it. I guess because I've been so just in love with a lot of the classics and then new ones that come out that I'm like, hey, you got to learn this. This is awesome. It's so much fun. And I've always kind of put mine on the side in the back burner. But I'd say within the last year or so, I've been more, I guess, intentional about sharing it, especially here on the coast because I'm teaching so many nights a week. And then I'm like, you know what? My dances are fun too. So let's get these out there. And so I started sharing more of the ones that I've just kind of had in my back pocket or played around with or taught friends, or maybe we were doing performances. So I do like choreography. I've been putting out some more and then shared some recently at Nashville Dance Fest, which
Nice.
Blue
Very
Suede
nice.
Boots is probably my newest favorite that I've shared.
And say that one again.
Blue Suede
Blue
Boots.
suede boots. Yes,
By
absolutely.
Coffee Anderson. It's a fun one.
Super.
But so absolutely love choreography. As a matter of fact, on Spotify, have an entire list that's like, should choreograph to this. This song is
I think a
great.
lot of choreographers do that. They're just constantly trying to find dances or find songs that not everybody's done before, but really good songs that they're like, hey, I could find this niche in this one.
Yeah, or it just speaks to you. You're like, when that's played, I'm instantly getting out of my chair and dancing. It's like, okay, when it
Yeah,
has that kind of effect or that kind of movement, others are going to feel this way too.
I
So
agree. Totally agree. Great. And then so what's your favorite part about the line dance industry, the business or the teaching or choreography? What do you like best about it for you personally?
there's so many things. I mean, I love seeing that smile come out in somebody else, whether it's from me teaching them the dance or that, like, even when you and I, it's so funny. The vibe now takes on a whole nother special meaning because I'm like, you know what? Every convention, somehow Todd and I will run from opposite ballrooms and be like,
Yep.
"Keep us on." We come dancing. It's those moments. It's connecting, whether it's with students or friends, conventions, lessons, and just seeing the big excitement smile. That's what I love most about line dancing, because it doesn't matter if it's perfect or you're competing or what's going on. There's going to be times where you're just fully in the moment, embracing the fun, and like that's what we all go out for.
Yeah, I agree. That's a great. I mean, there's no other feeling like it, right? This is so good. Can tell me a little bit about your teaching style. Like how do you teach? Has it evolved over time? And is there anybody that you've modeled your teaching style after?
Oh, I think yes, it's evolved over time because I'm a student for life. So I can't get enough of learning from others and seeing different ways of doing things. I like the sponge method. Take everything in, keep what works, squeeze out what doesn't. And so, yeah, I think my instructions continuously evolving. But I my teaching style, I kind of tailor to who I'm with. And so if it's with younger kids, then I might try to add in Superman moments or princess moments. If I'm teaching to a bar, then I'm going to maybe tailor some jokes that are more adult oriented, or if I'm a bachelorette party. So I think that my approach to teaching is to remember why they're there, and what the group is and what their learning is. And then the rest has some similar parts that I do for everything. So, of course, I refer to step sheets. That way, I'm teaching them what they can go and do all around the world. And then I like to drop in memory markers. I'd probably say that's something that's really important and maybe not unique to me, but just you'll always get at one of my lessons. I'm going to say or do something that you're going to remember part of the dance because of that. That's kind of my goal. So, like for example, the dance that's out right now that's pretty popular, it's called Pieces of the Puzzle. It's to I Love Miami by Pitbull. I'll say for the heel swivels, the squish the bug, make sure it's dead. And then as you're going back, and the way I say it, I'm still doing it to the rhythm and timing, and I'm teaching the steps, I teach the counts, but I add those things in to bring out the laughs and also help you remember, something special to that dance.
Nice, very nice. And what, as far as like the business part of line dancing, kind of how has that evolved? How have you kind of organized yourself? Do you have a team? Do you have other teachers that you're working with?
Yeah, but I just thought about something else that you said, and I do want to throw this out there for those that
Sure.
might be interested. You said, "Who am I inspired by?" There's several, and there's several amazing ones out there. So, of course, I work with Kickstart instructors. So many of the instructors that work through Kickstart, you have Adia Southern Soul with Stephanie and Tam. I've already mentioned Philip Boot Scootin, Trevor Thornton. So many. So if I'm leaving names out, just know that if I've worked with you, I think you're amazing. You got Darcy, Jenny Kane, all of those. But I think that you and I, when we were at Sunshine in Line and I was in person with some of the world dance masters, a lot of their style too was so funny to me. So hearing the things that they would introduce in their classes, I was like, wow, I love it. And I soaked in so much from going to that. So I would say if you're in the bar scene right now, or you've seen a lot of the American instructors, to, have a chance to learn from international instructors, and you'll just really soak in so many new things that'll help out with your teaching. So I would highly recommend going to a World Dance Masters event if you have a chance as an instructor or a student.
Yeah, some of these big events, I mean, they bring in people all over the world. It is really amazing. And some, people that have just done it for their, half their lives. And it's incredible. I saw Rebecca Lee out in Vegas the first time I ever met her a couple of years ago. And it's just like mind blowing how talented she is and how she has all these newer dances and more fun, younger stuff that, it's not country. It's just completely different,
Mhm.
like headphones, like who would have ever imagined that, or the Sphinx, but they're just such cool dances. It's really,
Yeah.
really cool.
Yeah. Well, I think too, they start to develop not only in their styles of different dance styles, but then also instructing, because they're teaching people that speak so many different languages or so many different cultures and styles as well, that it even morphs into their teaching. So I just love it. Hearing some of Gary, Fred's, Madison, all their little jokes, of course, Joe's, and the way that they go to teach and use their hands, I just love it. So I would say I've, over the last year or two, started adding in a lot more that I've seen from their instruction too.
Yeah, it's great. It's great getting around to see everybody. So tell me, how do you decide what venues you're going to teach at? Kind of how do you schedule your calendar to be out in teaching as well as, doing the events?
Yeah, I have my regulars, so I teach weekly on the Gulf Coast. So I'm in Florida, Alabama, and Mississippi once a week. And I I really kind of try to go where the community's dancing, or where it's a good spot or opportunity for people to join that may not be able to go. So I like offering a variety. I've been in bars, I've been in skating rinks, I've been in gyms, I've been outside at the beach. So I would say my venue choice is just what's going to connect more people to be able to come out in that area or space. So whether it's families that need an option to bring their kids, or, a morning time because they're doing evening activities, I kind of just sprinkle in some of those to be able to reach other parts of the community. Some of the venue selection has been me reaching out, and some of them reaching out to me. So it's been a mixture of both.
Nice. And about how many events, like outside events, do you do a year?
Oh, when you mean by outside events,
Like
like
not your normal weekly classes, like conferences or conventions.
yeah, usually with conventions, it's been about once a month. In some way, shape, or form, I'll go to one a month.
Nice.
And then other events besides weekly lessons, that usually is 2 to 3 a month. It might be a private anniversary party, or it might be this team building activity. So yeah, there's several things that go on besides weekly lessons.
And what's the furthest one away from you that you've gone to?
So, well, that I've traveled this year, it'd probably be the Edge. So
Out in
I've been
California?
yeah, I've been to
Um,
Seattle, but I was living in Washington at the time. And then
Oh,
I've
okay.
been to South Florida. So I think I've hit every corner except the New England area in the last couple years.
Well, we'll have to get you up here.
Yeah.
Okay, what a little bit about the community and culture of line dancing? Like how have you seen that evolve since you've been in line dancing
As a whole, or in my area?
as a whole? Or well, both actually.
I guess I'll start with my area first. When I came back home, this was in 2019, home to Pensacola area, Gulf Coast, there, to my knowledge, there just wasn't dancing. People weren't marketing it as much. Yeah, it was hard to find a place. And I even had trouble, which is why I contacted and was like, hey, can we get lessons going? And I think since then, in my area on the Gulf Coast, people are more aware of the value in lessons, more aware of line dancing, more aware of step sheets, more aware of beyond a 10-second TikTok video. There's actual full dances, some with restarts and tags. So I'd say our area is kind of young to the line dancing scene, especially going towards phrase dances and things on the circuit. But they're opening up more to it. And then in the last couple years, we've had more and more instructors in this area teaching regularly. And Christina Lyon, she's part of West Coast Country Heat. She moved from Washington, and now she teaches regularly down here and close in my area. So, and then Lacey's joined Kit, and Lacey's teaching in New Orleans. So I'd say in the last 2 years, we now almost have within a 2-hour drive a place where you can go each night, which was unheard of 2 years ago. There just wasn't. So that's pretty
Yeah,
cool.
I've been in Virginia for 2 years, and it was like two nights a week, and now there's like 3 options every single night. It's just incredible, the explosion of how much line dancing is going on.
Yeah, so we're seeing that here on the coast, which is so exciting. Everybody's so happy for that, and love, 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 love seeing more instructors here. Selena Meter in the Atlanta area, she has
Yep.
a thing she shares, community over competition, and I couldn't agree more. The more it grows, the more people involved, the more options we all have, and it's amazing to see that growth.
Yeah, it's not, well, there are a few, but yeah, the majority are very non-competitive. I mean, the more students that you teach, it benefits all the instructors around you because they can just learn and learn and learn. And there's so many new people coming into line dancing that, it's just going to expand the entire industry for everybody. And so I think people that have that view, like Selena, I mean, it's great that they literally encourage people, no, go see other instructors, go do all of these things so you can learn all the different things going on and new dances. And they actually bring new dances to them, and they're like, oh, this is cool, we'll do another dance.
Absolutely. And that was one of the points I was going to say about it is like, so there's room for all of us. There really is. And it just creates more opportunities to go out and dance. But it also helps dances stick. So people need to see it or dance it more than once. And you might be at a venue that the repetition isn't necessarily received well as far as like continuously teaching the same, or maybe students need it for longer. So if there's more opportunities to learn it in the area, more places to dance it, then great dances or maybe more complicated dances, they stand a chance of sticking.
Yeah, for
So
sure. And one of the cool new features that we're bringing out this month in the app is actually when you're searching dances, it will categorize the dances. So if there's 12 dances to Shivers or 24 to Shivers or however many, it'll actually categorize them, and it'll be like green if it's the one that you know, or it'll be, if it's in a venue, it'll be bright orange if it's in your venue that you're standing in, or it'll be light orange if it's done in your region. So you're like, oh, out of all these dances, these are the ones, this is most likely the ones that we're going to learn or that we see. And the
oh, that's
instructors can
awesome.
tag them and everything. So if they're tagged to venues, then it's easy for people to understand, because it does become regional a little bit. There's certain ones that are done in regions, and then you have like American Kids, which is done to one song all over the whole world.
Yes.
So it's a little bit of a variety, but it's very helpful for people that are using the app. They can, oh yeah, these are the ones they're doing.
Totally. And I was just speaking of the app, telling students in our area that if there's one feature alone that you need to download this right now is because you've added in that song recognition.
Yeah.
So it may be new to you or the dance is new to you, but just pull that out, press that, it'll pull up the song, and then you'll see dances that go with it. And I'm like, this alone, download right now.
Yeah, because you're like, wow, I didn't know like you could do all these different dances to it. Or they're like, oh, you can do schottisch to this, and you can do a partner pattern dance, and you can do a line dance to it. And people can do split floor, all of those things going on.
Yeah. Yeah.
The other nice thing is that anybody that has the app, if they're doing it to a different song, they can actually add that song to that dance. And it just becomes a crowd-sourced information network of, if you have I mean, I love Copper Knob, they're incredible, and they've been so great getting step sheets out.
Mhm.
But when you have a Copper Knob one, it's like, okay, you've got the original song that it was done to. I mean, there's ones in the app there's like 40 or 50 different songs people are doing to these dances.
Yes, I love that because then a great dance, it truly can, when it's paired well, work with so many others.
Yeah.
Um, so yes, I love that. I'm a huge fan of that. And you know this
Oh
from
yeah.
it and other conversations. Like I love themes. I love reasons to invite your friend or have fun, get together, dress up, or just, put together dances that you might not have, danced in a while. And so for that very reason, I've paired a lot of different song swaps because okay, we're doing, like I just did Rocktober. So all right, we're doing rock songs. You can line dance to some rock song or rock country genre. So I love that you can add that into the app because then you can quickly have your list of options.
Yeah. I love to do booze cruise to car wash, the car
Okay.
wash song.
Yes.
Everybody should try it. It is a blast. There was a band that was playing that and we started doing booze cruise. They're like, oh my gosh, these line dancers are doing a dance to car wash.
Yes.
It's
And so
always
many
fun.
instructors too, DJs, dancers, like it's just so helpful because you think that you can only do high class to high class, which is an amazing song by Eric Paisley. I forget how he pronounces it, but there's so many other options too, along with so many of them. So just download the app if you haven't already.
Absolutely. Yep. Bring the fun wherever you go.
Yep.
Okay. Tell us like a memorable experience or funny experience or anything that's happened to you kind of in the line dance industry. What's been kind of the funniest things that have gone on?
Oh, the funniest. Well, I kind of like watching some of the partner dancing creativity. So that brings out laughs because whether it's, an unexpected lead moment or cue that was like, oh, okay, or missed, the way that you can just adapt and come back from that. I think those moments exist even within the dancing. So those are small laughter moments that happen every night that I absolutely love. Let's see, what are some I can't think of one right now that's like a specific story that was a laughter moment, other than just running out to the dance floor and maybe it's again the forgetting moments. I think those stand out to me and contra dances. I think some of the biggest laughs. Okay, I'll share this one. I taught a gym this past week and the gym had never done line dancing and they brought all the members together for a member appreciation, and this was all the way from like 9 years old to 70 something. Like everybody came out and we were doing Stand By Me contra style, and for some reason this particular duo could not remember whether to go backwards first or forwards first. And then they just loved the do-si-do, and they were in the hunched over, bent over position, like crying, laughing, couldn't move because it was just they could not every time they started it, they were doing the wrong thing.
Yeah.
And just witnessing that moment, I literally tapped my husband because he was helping with music and was like, "Please go capture a video of that because this
Yeah.
right here, this is why we all get together because you're having the time of your life even if you aren't doing the steps right." So I
Exactly.
love that.
It's well, we both know the most important thing is having fun, not necessarily perfecting the dance moves.
Yeah.
So, and a lot of people that go, especially out to the bars or whatever, they're there to release their anxiety. They're there to, get some exercise. They're there to clear their head. And
Mhm.
it just to have a fun environment where you can do that is incredible.
Yes. Yeah.
So let's see, any achievements or any things like what's happened to you in the industry where you're like, wow, this is really cool, or you've been recognized by your peers or anything like that?
Honestly, I'd have to say with Kickstart and Adia, because I think that so much of my involvement in the industry has been, I guess you'd say smaller, like behind the scenes. I wasn't big into pushing anything social for the longest time. It wasn't until TikTok that I was like, I'll share this. I'm bored. I'll go out to the beach. I was always doing boot camps, smaller cities performances, and with other teams and other teams that pushed it and did that. So I think basically just inadvertently being part of reaching out to Adia and with the Kickstart instructor training, and then being part of going to the Kickstart events, I guess brought more recognition to me or what I was doing as far as like people knowing who I was. And I'd say that's been a pretty cool moment because that's when going back to what we talked about earlier, I was like, okay, well maybe all these years that I hadn't even posted a step sheet and let me just share this dance or let me bring this out, and that's been a favorite. And I think me being able to introduce things that I've done for a long time now on a bigger scene, hopefully other instructors can run with and have just as much fun doing as I've had for a while.
Well, you definitely have become a celebrity from the Virginia crew up here down in Nashville. Every time we go to Nashville, they're like, "Oh my gosh, Boots on the Beach."
Thank you.
So that's super fun. Any tips for beginning dancers that you give your beginning dancers or you want to say on here for anybody that's like just starting out?
Yeah, if you're just starting dancing, realizing that it's all about feeling the music and having fun with what you're doing. It's not necessarily the right steps. That comes over time. Different people, it takes longer to memorize things or to feel comfortable with the footwork. So, really just understand the pattern And in a sense, you know, hey, we're moving to the right. And then you'll work on those things little by little, or continue going to lessons, continuing going out with friends, and it becomes easier. It's like a language. So the more you do it, the more familiar you are with a coaster step or a sailor step or a wizard, etc. And so then it becomes less about what word did they just say? What was that term? That'll start to become natural. Dances get easier, patterns get easier because you pick up on it like that. So I would say to a new dancer, just keep going out. Just move in that direction. Enjoy the music, enjoy being with your friends. It all gets easier and even more fun the more you do it.
That's great. And any advice for more advanced dancers? You have some people that are learning some of the more advanced songs and dances. What do you kind of tell them at that stage?
Yeah, be aware of your body weight and where you're actually stepping and you're transferring your weight, because it makes everything so much easier. Whether you're doing a footwork pattern or you're doing a spin or a turn, if you're just kind of like big stepping or big moving around or hopping or jumping, it's going to have a different look and feel than if you're more purposeful and intentional about how you're stepping into it and landing and moving. Turns and spins will be easier. Spotting will then become something you can focus on versus falling out of a turn. The moves that were kind of watered down or muddy that you might just see from a video, when you start to pay more attention to the footwork and then how you're doing it, it really elevates how much more enjoyable the dance is, because you're like, oh my gosh, I see why the choreographer did that pattern. Because now that I've done it to the music and I've moved my feet that way, it's like, oh, it just takes over. It's like boom, 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 blah. It just feels so good. So I would say to more advanced dancers, really pay attention to your footwork and the weight, and it'll make the dances that much more crisp and meaningful to the music. You'll do your moves easier too.
Awesome. Absolutely awesome. All right. Now, so for a fun part of the podcast, we have the rapid fire questions. So get
Okay.
ready for question number one. And I probably already know the answer, but cowboy boots or fuegos?
Cowboy boots.
Of course.
Yeah.
Do you ever dance not in cowboy boots?
Sometimes when I do West Coast swing or country swing, because I've had a couple knee surgeries back from softball days and stuff like that. So I dance in Hey Dudes every now and then to give my knee a little break with some dance socks. But if I'm going out, you're probably seeing me in boots.
Yeah, well, I see that. I see your collection of boots there on the beach, physically on the beach there.
That's
All
right.
right. Number two, coffee, Starbucks or Dunkin' Donuts?
Oh
Or
man.
not, no coffee.
So I actually have a Starbucks cup with me. Oh, can you see?
Kind of
It's
see it.
so Starbucks, I would say most of the time, but there was a brief period in my life when I lived outside of Chicago and it was Dunkin' because it was right by the train.
Just convenient.
Yeah.
All right. So Starbucks, are you a pumpkin, the new pumpkin latte type of one, or do you have a specialty that you drink?
PSL lovers don't come for me. I can't stand iced coffee. I can't stand pumpkin. I'm more vanilla, caramel, praline, Irish cream, raspberry mocha. I like lattes.
Awesome. Awesome. All right. So this is probably one of the hardest questions that I always ask people. So then you kind of can make some friends or enemies here. So your top three, and it's neat, you can't say either of us. So the top three most fun people in the industry, in the line dance industry. Who are the top three? Your top three.
Top three most fun.
Most fun. The most fun.
Oh my gosh. My list would be scrolling.
I know.
I love meeting up with people local that some of you would never know, and then of course a bunch that you would know. All right, so I'm going to have to refer back to the two that really inspired me with a lot of the videos. And I literally, there's been a video shared recently from Shoreline, Southern Soul, where I'm dressed up as Ariel.
Oh,
And
nice.
it was from the line dance More Dessert. It was Philip's workshop. I still remember crying, laughing, kind of like I was telling you the couple that was bent over and couldn't move. I was that way through the class and didn't even learn certain steps of the phrase dance because I was just laughing at Philip the whole time. So I'd say Philip. Boot scooting is one.
Yeah,
Uh,
I would totally agree. I have the most fun with him, and I have a big smile, but if Philip's there, it's like twice as big. He is so awesome.
He's
It's awesome.
incredible. If you guys are watching this and you have an event and you need an MC or an instructor, hire Philip. I'm not even promoting myself. Hire
Oh no,
Philip.
he's so good across
daggone
the board.
funny.
Yeah,
He
incredible.
hardly says the same thing twice. He's so quick-witted. Just I love him to death and a great person.
Yeah.
So
I don't know how he knows so much. Like he can literally the whole day at an event be asking everybody all kinds of questions and getting people riled up and having all kinds of fun and joking and the whole day. Like he's just nonstop. There's so much energy in him.
Yes, and just so funny. So Philip's
All
amazing.
right, Philip's number one. Okay.
Yep.
Or top, you don't need to rank them, but yeah,
Yeah,
he's your top
definitely
three.
number one. But my top three would be Philip and Trevor. So Trevor Thornton, he's another one that's super inspiring to me because I love that his funny moments also come out in instruction, not only as a person, but like if you guys go pull up a video of party jumping with him and Brandon Zahorsky.
Great dance.
So yeah, when he's teaching it, he's like, ugh, step. And just the way he says things, like I just love it. It's so fun to be around him and learn from him. So
Yeah, and he actually is the one that taught me the vibe the first time out at the Yes conference 2 years ago.
okay.
So yeah, he's awesome.
Oh man, I am so torn on the third because I'm thinking of like my fun definitions now starting to expand. Is it the creativity in moments where people will just put in their own flair and I just love to watch them or even teaching. So I'm a little torn on my third one right now. I guess I'm gonna have to go, I'm not gonna go with another instructor right now, even though this person does instruct. I'm gonna have to say Grant Mayfield. I think you know him and he's down in South Florida. He's another one that I can just turn to mid dance and I'll do something or he'll do something and we'll just bust out laughing and it's for no reason and he's very creative and playful. So, I'd say Grant.
Yeah. Grant is probably one that I think knows every single dance.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, that's whenever a dance comes out, I'm like, Grant is dancing to this one too. He like knows every single one.
And can help cue it and teach it on the spot. I've definitely referred to him. I'm like, Grant, what was the steps?
Yeah. He's super fun.
Yeah.
Super fun. Okay. All-time favorite 3 dances.
Okay, high class. I just love that. I love the slide moment in that one, and it was one of my early dances.
It's at Loudon Kitchen where we dance. As before they start high class, they come out and they put baby powder down because they want the maximum amount of slide to slide down the entire side.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
there's actually a bunch of places up here that, I mean, it's like a competition. They want to slide all the way to the wall.
And there was a
Great
time
dance.
after my knee surgery where I intentionally wore rubber bottom shoes and I wasn't doing the slide. And then it was like the reason that one's special to me is once I was able to and had better stability on my knee again, it was like, oh, I'm sliding.
I can do that. I can do high class again.
Yes. So
Awesome.
that one's pretty special to me. Recently, the vibe, so many reasons. You're one of them. It's just a dance. Stephanie Vastura with Southern Soul. I share vibe moments with her too, where we were working registration at a Kickstart event and the song came on. We put everything down and went out and danced it. I think it's just one of those that like brings on a whole other feel that you don't expect. People think a lot of times just Western country stomping and clapping. And the vibe really just brings out a whole nother world.
Yeah. And there's so many of these like high powered dances now and very, aerobic, and it's just smooth and cool and fun. Yeah. That's my favorite. It's my favorite dance at most venues. Although Work the World is now taken over, but that's most people aren't going to do Work the World.
Yeah, I would say I have some new faves, but all time.
Yep, all time. Okay, so you got the vibe and you've got
the vibe, high class. Those were two of
number
them.
3.
I'd say it was a very influential one for me. So it would have to be it's Trevor Thornton's dance, Going Ham. So everybody knows, well, a lot of people know it as Crank It Up, but its name is Going Ham. That one for me at the time, I was doing a lot of performance stuff. And so it was more intricate footwork, a lot of choreography. It wasn't a lot of the bar style and a lot of repetition, 32 count type of thing. And so when I was just out socially dancing and it saw that, I was like, that looks fun. And everybody can just let loose. And so that dance for me was kind of like almost like an introduction towards the bar scene and bar dances. So it stands out for me on like, hey, everybody's going to enjoy this. It's adding a little bit of footwork, but you can get out there right now and pick up on parts of it.
Yeah, that is an all-time classic. That I see everywhere. Super fun dance.
Yeah.
Very cool. Okay, so this one, this is just one person. So who is your, and I keep saying it, but so I originally called it your line dance celebrity crush. But people are like saying you can't say crush, so who is your line dance celebrity like idol? Who have you not met in the industry that you know about that you would want to meet that you haven't met yet?
I'm very, very fortunate that I've gotten to meet a lot of them. So
Yep. Who have you missed or
who have I not? Well, I haven't met Rebecca yet. So I might
oh,
have to say Rebecca because I got to meet several of my idols and like Joe Thompson, Szymanski. Like I've gotten to meet a lot of them recently and over the past year or two. But I guess Rebecca, she's one that I haven't met
no,
yet.
Rebecca Lee out of Malaysia.
That's right.
That's fantastic. Yeah, I mean that if you just go to Sunshine in Line, you'll meet tons of legends.
Yeah.
Incredible event. Okay, what is your favorite event of the year?
Oh, can I say two of them?
You have to pick two.
Yes, I have to pick two.
All right,
But they're different and special in different ways.
dual gold medals go to.
Yeah, shoreline. Shoreline. It is there's just something about it that is the best of everything. It brings in so many people. It even the very first year that I went brought in a lot of the World Dance Masters people as judges. So it brings in everything: competition, social dancing, workshops, small community, great venue, just the whole I'm a little partial to the beach, maybe. And it's shoreline. So I love it. It is my absolute everything in one package. So I would say shoreline. That's a Kickstart Country Southern Soul event.
And tell everybody what time of year that is.
There's going to be two next year. There's going to be high tide and low tide. They're expanding it so that
Really
yeah,
awesome.
it'll make it where you can go and get more of it versus just one time, but then also kind of helping out beginners and then really kind of expanding even more for advanced dancers. So high tide and low tide will be 2025.
Nice.
And then I would have to say Sunshine in Line. So that one would be my other because again, it is another Florida place. So I'm a little biased to Florida, even though I love to travel. But everybody just came and it had that laid back feel. You can learn anything you want to whatever level you want, but everybody's just having such an amazing time. And there's such a wide variety of styles being taught.
Yeah, I think Rachel that she did an incredible job of combining everything into one event. And a lot of times there's friction and things. Everybody was so loving to every type of dancer. You had the World Dance Masters going on. You had swing and line dance, just all out competition, which a lot of bigger events don't have that. That's more of the kind of California, Arizona vibe, but just, kind of free for all, anybody can join. And then you had the classic main hall where you go and you're like, I don't know any of these like super advanced dances. And you have all these world dancers doing them perfectly. I mean, some of the videos I got there were insane. You have all these incredible choreographers that are the top dancers in the world doing these dances together and just that whole thing. And then the closing night, I mean, that to me last year was the most perfect event ever. It was so good.
It really was. It was
It
so
was.
special. And then to be able to just come first thing in the morning, which I probably killed myself a little bit. I was there for the first classes all day long, and then until it closed, 3 and 4, some of the survivor photos, but I just couldn't get enough because like you said,
Yeah.
it was just the combination of everything it was so much fun.
Yeah.
And
And
then
you had,
I
go
was
ahead.
just gonna say, like, with it being in the hotel instead of out of some other places, like the family could come. You didn't have to, walk or drive as far. So if you wanted to, do it all because you had FOMO, then you can.
For sure. All right. So a little bit more on your personal story. What's been the most rewarding thing for you in your whole line dance journey?
Ooh, the most rewarding, I mean, besides weekly getting to see people just come up and pour out their hearts like, thank you. Like, thank you for this. Like, thank you for doing these lessons. And we're all out here because you're doing this. Like that feels so good to have people, have a space where they can go and just be so happy about it and grateful. I'd say I'm so blessed to receive that weekly. On a grand scale, I'd probably say being part of starting the Kickstart instructor training program with Adia and just being able to get something out there that instructors don't have to reinvent the wheel and they don't have to search in 100 different places, that they can go to one spot and really have so many things there to help them.
Awesome. That's great. So as you know, I'm big into the kind of the theory, go for it, think, dream big, make your dreams happen, do things that people can't believe you can get done, and make it go. What's on the long-term horizon for you? What's your kind of 10x dream for yourself in the line dance industry?
For me personally, it would be to dance in other continents, other countries. So for me
Nice.
personally, it would be to go and dance in other places.
All
I've
right.
pretty
We'll,
much
we'll
done
make we'll
all
make that
the
happen. I am sure. I'm sure you will do that. I'm
Yes.
sure you will do that.
Yep.
That's great. What else? Tell us kind of outside of line dancing. What do you do? What do you like to do?
Well, I love sports. So I grew up playing fast pitch, grew up playing multi sports. And so I absolutely love to do anything that's active. I'll go out skating with the kids. My kids are just now getting involved in sports. So playing with them and teaching them things that I know. So
Are you
I
going to
love
coach?
sports. I did for so many years prior. I did all the way from 8-year-olds through college level. I'm sure it's in my future again to do with the kids.
Yeah, nice. All right, so tell us one thing that the people in the line dance community don't know about you.
Well, many don't know and didn't believe that I was a chemist. That's one thing.
We haven't seen you wear your lab coat at the conventions.
No, I haven't done that. So I really love math and data and just analyzing things. So you may know that once you get to know me, but maybe not at first. Or that I was blonde for many years. Everybody sees the red hair, and I was blonde for a while.
All right. And
Yeah.
your preference is red. That's what you've been the most of your life. What's your hair color been?
Well, it's been most that people have seen me in line dancing. So I
Yeah,
was I was blonde in Washington and been red since moving down here. I've been many colors over the years, but
nice.
anywho,
Very good.
yeah.
Very good. We'll talk a little bit about trends and observations in the industry. What do you think is kind of what's the major thing going on in the line dance world that you're either really happy about or concerned about?
So what I see a lot of in traveling to different places is the hunger and thirst for just learning dances quickly or what's new and what's hot or what's out. And I absolutely love that, but it's also kind of sort of it's a challenge for instructors in areas. And the reason being is because sometimes people will learn it so quick or partially learn it or just pick up off of a TikTok video or, something that they've seen, which we've all done. That's how we used to learn, just watching somebody out on the dance floor one night. But what's happening is that dances play the telephone game or fun parts of footwork and choreo or tags are getting left out. And then as you go to travel, you might bump into somebody because they didn't do the tag or they restarted or they didn't travel during this 8 counts of footwork. And so I would say it's very trendy to just keep learning and learn new, but it's kind of a challenge to learn it all the way.
Learn it correctly.
Yeah, learn it all the way is really the thing. Because I even like hesitate to say correct, right, or wrong, because ultimately enjoy the dance and style it how you'd like. But it is an issue if you're turning or changing a wall and someone isn't, or they're moving on the dance floor and you're stationary, and then we got people bumping into each other, and that can become an issue.
Yeah, I mean it's really cool on the dance floor when everybody's moving together, especially ones where there's a lot of movement. You see the whole dance floor moving together. It's just gorgeous.
Yeah. And I guess I would say another side of it too, though, that's also become a little bit challenging is that sometimes dancers will latch on to whatever is trending only and then think that they'll repair that or, song swap it to everything and just do that particular dance to everything. It's like, man, you're missing out on an incredible line dance that goes to this song. It's incredible and you would love it, but you're stuck on this one dance.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. You get that moment where you run out to the dance floor, you're all excited to do the dance, and you're like, wait a minute, this is not.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So I would say those are some good things, some challenges, some trends. Also with partner dancing, country swing is picking up, even West Coast swing is picking up among line dancers. So another challenge is just as all of these dance styles are growing and people are learning them, Sometimes etiquette is being forgotten. And so then just teaching people the floor layout and where line of dance is, where line dancers would be, where progressive dances would be. And then, so everybody can enjoy the dance how they want to if you kind of treat the floor with those certain designated areas.
Yeah. And what percentage of dancers like where you go are new? Like, are you getting a lot of influx of new dancers?
For me, all the time. We could do an entire podcast on that, Todd.
Yeah.
There's 3 or 4 colleges in the Pensacola area, from, smaller community colleges up through the universities. There's also several military bases. There's several retirement communities. And then, of course, tourism coming to the beach. So I have a set of regulars, and there's, regulars in the community along the Gulf Coast. But then we constantly have brand new dancers who have never danced before. They're just coming out because they were visiting family or what have you. They came in for a graduation. So tons and tons of people who have never danced before. So
Yeah.
that
So I think a lot of instructors have that issue with their venues. So what's your advice to instructors that have to deal with the kind of, okay, I have this whole group that I got to teach from basic that, if I yell out sailor step, they're going to be like, what's that? And then you have people that are like, I learned a sailor step 5 years ago. I don't need to. How do you deal with that on the instructor side?
So I basically still make sure that I offer something for everybody. So when I'm going out to the lessons, because I'm fortunate enough to have a 2-hour time block, I make sure that I'm including beginner dances all the way through improver intermediate throughout the end of the night. So already just with that, there's something for everybody. But even within a beginner dance to some of my regulars, I'll tell them, hey, maybe try out doing a turning coaster step this time versus a triple step in place. Or, I'll offer modifications, but the way I treat it for everybody is I still teach it the same, but I'll offer the variations or modifications to keep people interested. I still break it down the same. I just might add in some spice or flair towards the end of it to give the more advanced dancers some interest.
Nice. Very nice. So future plans, what's on tap for the next year for Boots on the Beach?
For the next year, hopefully more of the dancing that we're doing now on the coast and bringing in more instructors who are learning in this area. I believe you had mentioned earlier, do I have other people that are instructing with me? And so within the last year or so, there's been 2 or 3 that have subbed for me, and there's even more showing interest and wanting to bring more to the area. So I would just say the next year would be continuing what we're doing and continuing to growing dancing on the Gulf Coast.
Nice. Well, good luck with that. I'm sure you'll continue to crush it down there. So where can people get a hold of you? Where can they support you? Where can they, pump you up?
Boots on the Beach on all of the social media platforms. You might have to put in dancing behind on some of them, but Boots on the Beach dancing, all platforms. I always share a calendar on Facebook. Sometimes I'll post it to the other platforms as well. So you can see where there's dancing on the Gulf Coast and beyond, whether I'm here or traveling.
Awesome. Awesome. All right. So everybody remember, download the app, get on that. I'm going to work with Taren. We're going to create a couple cool challenge lists, probably maybe a beginner one and an advanced one. So anybody at any level can see all of her favorite dances. So we'll put that in all the channels. Make sure that you're following our YouTube channel, Todd the Data Cowboy. We have tons of videos on there, and also the guides on the website. So the bringthefun.dance, it's .dance, not .com. Go to bringthefun.dance and you'll see the guides there, and it has all different tips of all the cool features that are coming out and rolling out for that. Remember to bring the fun everywhere you go. Make sure that you're tagging your dances, either that you're dancing them live or you're not dancing them live. So if they're tagged dancing live, then that'll get tagged to that particular venue, and that will help the thousands of dancers that are eventually going to come to that venue and say, what dance are they doing? So we really, really appreciate all the support of the app, all the support of the podcast. So much fun to bring Taren here on the podcast tonight. Love this girl, the president of line dance. I'm just going to keep calling you that. I love it. And, good luck with everything down south. Look forward to seeing you all over the country and at some point internationally somewhere.
That's right. Thank you, Todd. Let's all keep bringing the fun.
Absolutely. Have a great one.
I have one question for you. Who is going to bring the fun?
You're in the honky tonk with Todd the Data Cowboy.